Welcome to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. My name is Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm excited to share my insights and experiences with you to help you shift your mindset and improve your life. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring different areas of life, discussing how to make positive changes. Now, I'll be doing this by interviewing guests who can provide additional perspectives and their experiences. I believe that by making a mindset shift, we can all unleash our full potential and create the lives we want to live. I hope you'll join me on this journey. How you doing, everyone? I want to welcome you back to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. My name's Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm your host. So today, the topic I want to talk about is something that, I struggle. I say this all the time. I struggle with a lot of things, but this is something that, as owning a business, I always felt the harder that I worked, the more productive I am. When it's the actual opposite. The harder I work, if I'm not working smarter, I'm working harder. And that's what I want to focus on today because, I want to do everything in my business. I want to, be the one to open the door. I want to be the one to close the door. I want to be the one to fix every single problem. I want to be the one to, to check every email. And what that does is it brings a mountain of stress on top of me, right? And it brings a mountain of anxiety on top of me. And, I know it took me a really long time to get to this point. And I'm still struggling with this. Because I want to be on top of everything. I want to be in control of everything. But what I've learned to do over the last couple of months is actually work a lot smarter. And when I say that, I use 3 things that actually help me in this process. And the first thing is to delegate, right? And why do I have a staff? Why do I have people that work under me? Why did I train these people to work under me? Is because I want them to take the responsibility and to be able to deflect from me and me be able to do other things. So, last year it was a lot crazy. There was a lot of stuff going on and there was a lot of problems. And, I saw my staff like just at the brink's end. They couldn't handle any more business. And what I did is I just figured out how to process that for them and how to help them to know what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it and when they're supposed to do it, right? So we created a process for that. And, it's able for me to delegate to them, all right, you're doing this task, you're doing this task, and you're doing this task. And then their day becomes a little easier and it's a little more manageable. With that, it takes stuff off my plate, so I'm able to focus on other things that could generate income for the business. So the delegation is really key, right? And listen, there's going to be problems in everyday life, in everyday business. And, they're going to pop up. But I can't try to micromanage that and to be in a situation where, every single thing I'm feeling, every single thing that comes in I'm feeling. And, and my partner's the same way. He wants to be on top of everything. And we're trying to be outside of the business to generate income for the business. When we're in the grips every single day of the business, and we're working in the business and not letting the business work for us, we're not productive. So delegation is key, right? And that means to have a really good staff, right? And that means to be able to trust them. And if you're instilling your work ethic in them and you're teaching them the right way, then things start working out, right? The second thing that I've worked on recently, and it's twofold. It's being in shape, right? Mentally and physically. If you're out of whack, if you're not sleeping right, if you're not exercising right, if you're not eating right, you come to work and you're just in disarray in general, that creates disarray in the business, right? Or in life. So we're not working, you're not working smarter that way. It's working harder, right? Because you're working against yourself and you're working against everything, right? So, I get in my ruts. And like when I'm working out, when I'm consistently working out, when I'm eating right, when I'm eating healthy, when I'm on a routine like that, I find that the business flows a lot better, right? Because I'm getting the right sleep, I'm getting the right nutrients in my body. So that's really important, right? And the other thing, it's not just the outside, it's the inside also. When my mind starts going and when I'm starting having problems and things aren't working, listen, I yell a lot, right? And what I try to do is not yell as much, right? And try to internalize that. Why am I mad? Am I mad at myself? Am I mad at them? Or is it just something that happens and we have to let it go, right? So sometimes I'll just close the door and I'll take a breath. I'll walk out of the office, take a breath, and I'll regroup and I'll come back. There was an incident last week. I got mad. I was, I've tried to do something over and over and I was getting madder and madder, and something happened and I exploded. And I got mad for a second, but I walked away because I didn't want to let my anger take control of it. I wanted to be able to make it a teachable moment. So I walked away, I came back, and I was able to teach, and we got it resolved. So, when you're in shape, both mentally and physically, you're able to be the best you. And the last thing that I think is important is setting daily work goals, right? And it's not just, listen, things happen in work, things happen in life that we have to pivot from. But if you have set times or don't have a list 30 things long during the day. Have a list of 3 things long. Accomplish those, then make a new list. You could regroup at one point. All right, I handled those 3 things. Let me take the next 3 things. And you have to prioritize it. What's important and what's not important. Because we could have a list of 20 things long that doesn't all have to be handled today. It could be handled on Wednesday. It could be handled on Thursday. But like myself, is I want everything done right away instead of prioritizing. So now I prioritize the things that I want to deal with, and it helps me to get to the next problem, and it helps me get to the next list, the next thing on my list. And what that does is now I have small achievable goals, right? And once I have those small achievable goals, then I can start handling the bigger goals. And that's important. And I try to even talk to my staff about that. Block out a certain time. Block out an hour. I'm doing this. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm handling this, this, and this. And if somebody asks you, hey, listen, come to me at this time and I'll handle that problem. So, but sometimes things happen. You have to pivot from that. But if you start blocking out time and you start blocking out, small achievable goals, the day becomes a lot more manageable, right? And that's when you start working smarter, right? And for me, listen, it's great to work hard. It's great to be, but there's a difference, right? And anybody could work hard if they want to, right? It's the person that works smarter that is the most successful person, right? And then what it does is once you're productive and you start working smarter, more things start coming your way. More good things start happening to you, right? And it also saves you time, right? Because that's the thing we can never get back is time. Listen, everybody makes mistakes. Everything happens. There's always things that happen in life, but the time is the one thing you can't get back. And that's really important, right? So if you're saving yourself precious time, that's a home run right there, And it opens up the relationships, because if you're working all the time and you're working hard and you're focusing on work and you're not focusing on everything else because you're just working hard, the little things go by. The small precious moments in life go by, right? Your relationships move by. And the other thing that happens is when you're working really hard, it's that stress that keeps on getting on top of you because you're just working. I work hard. Yeah, I work hard. But it becomes stressful, right? It becomes stressful, and then your health becomes an issue. And that's what you don't want to do, right? So, today I hope you understand that, listen, if you take your time and you start working things the right way instead of the harder way, your life becomes a lot more controllable and a lot more manageable, right? And that's what I look for today. I want to be happy with my life. I don't want to be inundated with things. I don't want to be stressed out all the time. Life is here to enjoy. It's too short and too precious, right? So I hopefully you got something out of this today. I hope you got, just follow those 3 rules. Delegation, get your mind and body right, and set daily work goals, achievable work goals. If you do this, you'll be working a lot smarter, and you'll have a better life, and you'll have a more enjoyable life. All right, hopefully you got something out of this today. The only way to get this out to other people and to shift their mindsets is by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. If you do that, we'll get out there, and more people will hear this. We'll get it out to more people, and we can change people's lives. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.